All right, let's talk about something that's probably on your mind a lot. It's this huge pressure, especially if you're just starting out, this illusion of overnight success. We're constantly hit with these stories that make achievement look like it happens in a flash. But today, we're going to pull back that curtain and build a real roadmap for success.
I mean, have you ever felt this? You're just scrolling through your phone, and you see this endless parade of success stories. People launching things, getting these incredible jobs. It's so easy to start questioning yourself, thinking, am I doing enough? Am I falling behind?
Yeah, and headlines like this one are exactly what I'm talking about. They're designed to fuel that anxiety. This is the highlight reel, the part they want you to see. But what these stories almost never mention are the crucial details. You know, the years of grinding away in silence, all the failed attempts, maybe some privilege, and sometimes just plain old luck that came before that overnight win.
And then there's this culture of the constant grind. It glorifies this nonstop hustle, where taking a break is seen as a weakness and burning out is somehow a badge of honor. Look, that's just not sustainable. And it is definitely not the only way to do something meaningful.
So, where does all this pressure lead? Well, it builds up this culture of what you could call performative achievement. It's where looking successful starts to matter a whole lot more than actually being successful. It's all a game of perception played out on our screens.
At the very core of this whole illusion is something deep inside our brains, our love for instant gratification. We want things, and we want them now. And you better believe that modern tech, especially social media, is engineered from the ground up to feed that desire. Every like, every share, it's a little dopamine hit, training us to crave that immediate reward.
Okay, so this is fascinating. Think of it like a literal battle going on inside your head. On one side, you have your dopamine system, the part that's all about, give me that reward right now. And on the other, you have your prefrontal cortex, kind of the responsible adult in the room, trying to make long-term plans. This culture of right now just overstimulates the first and weakens the second, which sabotages our ability to focus on what really matters.
So why do we buy into this illusion so easily? It's not just a personal failing. It's because our entire culture has kind of turned success into a product. It's sold to us like something you can just buy with the right course or the right hack. It's a lot easier to sell that idea than to explain the messy, long-term reality of how it actually works.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The dream doesn't die from a lack of hustle, but from a lack of patience. We're so obsessed with being busy, with doing more, that we forget the one thing that actually builds lasting success: strategic patience.
So you really have to ask yourself, which side of this chart are you on? Are you focused on the process, on just getting a little bit better every single day? Or are you just obsessed with the final result? Are you building real, solid skills, or are you just building a shiny image? One leads to fulfillment, the other just leads to a search for validation, and that is a huge difference.
Okay, let's switch gears and bust a huge myth. One you've definitely heard before. And we're going to replace it with a real science-backed tool you can actually use to get better faster.
The 10,000-hour rule. Yep, you know the one. Put in 10,000 hours of practice and you'll be an expert at anything. It sounds so simple, right? Well, the real story is actually a lot more nuanced and, frankly, a lot more helpful.
See, the guy who did the original research, Anders Ericsson, he had to clarify this. He basically said, whoa, hold on, that's not exactly what I meant. He was talking about deliberate practice. It's not just about showing up and logging hours. It's about a very specific kind of practice designed for improvement. It was never about the quantity of hours. It was always about the quality of those hours.
And this is the difference right here. Naive practice is just doing the thing over and over. It's like driving your car every day. You can do it for 20 years, but you're not getting any closer to being a Formula One driver because you're on autopilot. Deliberate practice is the opposite. It's about intentionally pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, finding what you're weak at, and drilling down on that one specific thing.
And let's be real for a second. This kind of practice is tough. It's mentally draining. It's not always going to be fun. But it is, without a doubt, the fastest path to true mastery. It's about breaking a skill down into tiny pieces, finding your weakest link, and just hammering away at it until it improves.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how do we actually do this?
Let's build a practical plan for real long-term growth, a plan that has nothing to do with overnight wins and everything to do with sustainable progress.
Think of this as your personal blueprint, and step one is the most important one. You have to define what success actually means to you.
Not what social media tells you, not what your parents tell you, what it means to you. From there, you can figure out what skills you need, set some clear goals, build a network of real human beings, and, critically, revisit your plan and adapt as you go.
This table just says it all. On one side, you have hustle culture, which is basically driven by fear and comparing yourself to others. And on the other, you have this amazing Japanese concept of ikigai. It's all about finding that sweet spot where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for all intersect. One leads to burnout, the other leads to a real sense of purpose.
All right, finally, let's just completely reframe how we think about what it means to succeed. It's not a finish line you cross. It's about learning to love the journey itself. Because the stories you see online, they completely ignore the messy middle. You know, the slow growth, the one sale victories, the 5 new subscribers. They want to show you the rocket launch, but they hide the years it took to build the rocket. Real careers, real skills, they're all built in that messy, unglamorous middle.
And this right here is the real secret. It's not about one giant leap. As the quote says, consistency compounds. Success doesn't explode. Success stacks. It's all about those small, consistent actions that build on top of each other day after day. It's like compound interest for your skills and for your life.
So I want to leave you with this question. Instead of chasing some distant, vague idea of overnight success, what progress can you acknowledge right now? What's one small step you took today? Shifting your focus from the monumental to the meaningful, that is the true key to sustainable motivation and real fulfillment. So, what's your win for today?